She didn't walk away because he was bad. She walked away because he was predictable. Because stability doesn't spike adrenaline. Because calm doesn't feel like chemistry. Because peace doesn't feel like passion to a nervous system addicted to chaos. Before we go deeper, hit subscribe and like the video. This is DepthRealm, where we expose the patterns no one wants to admit. What most people refuse to say out loud is this: many modern women didn't lose good men by accident. They evaluated them and discarded them, not out of cruelty, out of conditioning. Stability felt boring. Consistency felt weak. Reliability felt replaceable. And excitement felt like destiny. So she chose intensity over integrity, emotion over structure, butterflies over foundations. And at first it felt right. Of course it did. The human brain doesn't reward what's good for you. It rewards what's stimulating, what's uncertain, what feels scarce. The man who answered every call didn't feel valuable because he was available. The man who made time felt less desirable because he made effort. The man who offered commitment felt heavy because commitment requires accountability. So she leaned toward the man who didn't choose her fully, the man who kept her guessing, the man whose attention came in unpredictable bursts, the man who felt exciting because he felt unsafe. This wasn't romance. It was dopamine. And dopamine always disguises itself as fate. At first, she told herself she was choosing herself. She framed it as growth, as empowerment, as refusing to settle. But what she was actually doing was chasing emotional stimulation in a culture that taught her peace was a trap. The exciting man didn't offer partnership. He offered spikes. High highs, low lows, silence followed by intensity. And her nervous system mistook volatility for depth. Weeks turned into months, months into patterns. And slowly the cost revealed itself. Because excitement has a shelf life. And chaos never matures into safety. The man who thrilled her never stabilized. He never built. He never anchored. He never stayed consistent. But by the time she noticed, her standards had shifted. She had already learned to tolerate uncertainty. She had already justified disrespect. She had already internalized the belief that love is something you earn through endurance. And while she was chasing intensity, the stable men were watching her patterns, watching her choices, watching her excuses. They noticed who she entertained, who she defended, who she chased, who she rejected. And something changed. Because stable men don't compete for chaos. They don't audition for women addicted to turbulence. They don't invest where emotional economics don't make sense. They pulled back quietly, not angrily, not dramatically. They simply recalculated. By the time she was tired of excitement, the door to stability wasn't waiting open anymore. Because stability is selective. Here's the part no one tells her. Stable men aren't rejected forever. They remember. They remember being called boring. Too nice. Not exciting enough. Too predictable. Too safe. They remember being the option, never the priority. And when those men mature, build, and gain leverage, they don't return to women who once saw them as placeholders. Not out of revenge. Out of logic. Because men who invest long-term value seek women who value long-term thinking. And by then, she was different. More guarded. More tired. More suspicious. More urgent. The excitement drained her. The chaos aged her. The emotional labor hollowed her out. She wanted peace now. Consistency now. Security now. But here's the brutal reality of emotional markets. You don't get to buy stability at a discount after inflating your appetite for chaos. The woman who once rejected calm now feels invisible to it. Because stability looks for softness. It looks for cooperation. It looks for emotional regulation. And years of adrenaline eroded those traits. She became sharp, defensive, hyper-independent, emotionally armored. Not because she wanted to be, because chaos trained her to survive, not to bond. And stability doesn't pursue survival energy. It requires receptivity. So now she asks, where did all the good men go? They didn't disappear. They learned. They learned that attraction without alignment is a losing investment. They learned that intensity without peace is expensive. They learned that being chosen last makes you a fool, not a hero. So they raised their standards. They became selective. They became cautious. And suddenly, she feels the rejection she once gave casually. Only now it cuts deeper. Because it isn't loud. It isn't dramatic. It's silent. No arguments. No fights. No closure. Just disinterest. She is no longer competing with other women. She is competing with men's peace. And peace always wins. This is where resentment forms. She tells herself men are intimidated, emotionally unavailable, not ready. But the truth is simpler. Men who worked for stability don't gamble it on unresolved chaos. And she can feel it. The conversations don't flow the same. The patience isn't there. The tolerance is gone. Because stability is not desperate. It doesn't chase. It doesn't negotiate attraction. It doesn't convince. It selects. And selection favors those who recognized its value early. This is the psychological cost of confusing excitement with love. You train your nervous system to crave storms, then wonder why calm feels empty. You dismiss reliability as boring, then panic when reliability dismisses you. You romanticize instability, then resent the stability that no longer wants to rescue you. This isn't punishment. It's consequence. Emotional economics doesn't run on intentions. It runs on patterns. And patterns compound. Every choice trains future outcomes. By the time she's ready to build, she's speaking a different emotional language than the men who already did. And that gap feels like rejection. Because it is. The final truth is this. Stability doesn't reject women. It rejects instability disguised as experience. And once that door closes quietly, it doesn't reopen with apologies. See the pattern. Protect your energy. This is DepthRealm.